What's good, you too, man? It's your boy SB back here with another sports break. And in this video, I'm gonna be starting a new series on this channel called SB versus Everybody, where I'm gonna be introducing different guests to come onto this channel and debate me on different sports topics of their choosing. So for today, we're gonna have the guru of the NBA. This is a guy who hasn't got a pick wrong all NBA playoffs. He predicted every team correctly with the series and the amount of games that it'll take to win. So without further ado, introduce my boy Tim. What's good with you, bro?
What's good with you, man? How you doing today, bro?
All right, man. Just trying to stay black. This is gonna work. We got three topics set up here. We're gonna open discussion about these three topics, and we're gonna let the viewers decide on which one had the better points, which ones had a better point of view, and which ones had the better discussion. So you ready?
Okay, we'll do. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, that's a bet. All right, our first topic is going to be what is the main reason that the Brooklyn Nets are at home right now watching the rest of the playoffs? And I'll get started. For me, I think the main reason comes down to coaching and injuries, but we don't use injuries as excuses. So I'm gonna say coaching. As we know, Steve Nash is a brand new coach. This is his first year coaching in the NBA, let alone coaching in the playoffs, and his first year coaching. Period. He's never coached at any point in his career. I think before this, he was an advisor to the Warriors, and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving brought him over to the Nets to be their coach because, in their point of view, they didn't need coaching, is what they said. But you could see in that series against the Bucks that not many adjustments were made. Joe Harris shot, I think it was like 1 for 22 in the whole series. Hit one 3-point shot the whole series, when Joe Harris was the best 3-point shooter in NBA throughout the course of the season. But every day we seen him start. Every day we seen him get those opportunities, and every day we seen him let them down. I also think Steve Nash rode the back of Kevin Durant a little too much. I understand him playing the bulk of Game 5, well, all of Game 5. But Game 6, he should have had some opportunities to get in there, get him some rest. You can't run your best player into the ground like that. And ultimately, we seen that it caught up to him in the end. So there was a lot of mistakes made by Steve Nash in this conference semifinal, and ultimately I think that's the reason that they ended up losing. What about you, bro?
Well, I don't believe so. I believe Steve Nash, he did exceptionally well as far as the way he coached his team and how he carried them through the playoffs and the series against the Bucks. I don't think it's necessarily coaching that had more so to do with it, but I believe it's the performance of James Harden. We have to call it out how it is, man, because this guy here, man, like it's just that he just don't shows up. He never shows up when it counts. And regular season is good, but at some point in time, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and you got to say, "Hey, man, look here. I have to carry the ball. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted out of Houston for, and you left it so messy. And I don't want people to really think I'm just riding James Harden or I'm just a James Harden, because I'm really, if you really ask, I am a James Harden fan. So it has to do with James Harden not showing up in injuries. Luck has a lot to do with it. And, it's just, I feel like if Kyrie Irving would have played in this series, they would have been in the Eastern Conference Finals for sure.
Definitely would have made a difference. I give James a lot of credit because when Kyrie went down, he came back, and he was not quite the player we seen.
Man, SB.
SB,
man, look, I understand what you're coming from. I understand that he took the pressure off KD. I understand that. But bro, 5 points. You are a superstar. You are getting 5 points. Look, that's not acceptable, man. And he have a track record of doing this year after year, starting with when he was in OKC, when he went missing in the finals. So it started, and then the year after that against San Antonio, the year after that against Golden State. Man, look here, he's just not a playoff performer, man.
Yeah, I think that ultimately with James Harden, that does what it boils down to. It seems like he strings under this spotlight. And even when he got the furthest that he got out of OKC, which is the Western Conference Finals, in the Game 7, he had 10 turnovers. We get to the point where he was facing that Warriors team, and they had a chance to win the Game 7, and they missed like 25 straight three-pointers. And he was out there and couldn't stop the bleeding. So I mean, James Harden deserves a lot of the criticism. He didn't really do much to help KD out there, especially with scoring the ball. And if he had the wherewithal to shoot like he did in Game 7 and Games 5 and 6, they would have a better chance on winning in Game 6 instead of having to go to 7, which has really ended up being a toss-up at the end of the day.
I believe you, man, but I feel like he if that jumper ain't falling, man, you go to the line, man. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. So he could have did better, and that's just is what it is.
Yep. All right, the next topic we're gonna get into is these woefully 76ers. Now the 76ers got eliminated in the second round against the Hawks team that a lot of people thought that they should have beat. And they were heavy favorites to win that series, and they couldn't get it done. And a lot of people want to put the blame on the shoulder of Ben Simmons. But the question is, what do you think is next for the 76ers? I'll let you go ahead and get started on that one.
Well, I believe at some point in time, it's either going to have to be Doc Rivers, because somebody's going to have to look at that. Mm-hmm. Doc Rivers, some of the sets that he was running, and Ben Simmons, they should have, before Doc even came in, they should have had this man with a shooting coach. And the thing is, it's not that Ben Simmons is 6'8". If that, they say he's taller, but he has to be able to attack the basket and not be able to be scared to shoot the ball. Dude, you are 6'11". Go to the bucket. But the thing is, it has to be looked at Doc Rivers, because Embiid, he is a force of nature to wreck with. I said basically that Ben Simmons, he want to bully, pick and choose who he defend, but Trae Young gave him something that he wasn't really expecting. And I said, man, if they don't get the Hawks out in 5, if they let this series drag out with momentum and luck, and you let Trae Young believe that he can beat you, then it had a lot to do with Trae Young too. And it's just that I can't explain. It's just Doc just had probably bad luck after the 08 Celtics.
What do you think they could do to improve and make it to the Eastern Conference Finals for next season?
Get rid of Ben Simmons. You have to call for a trade for Ben Simmons. Yeah. Ben Simmons has to get traded if they want to make it to or if he has to be really dedicated to having a shooting coach and willing to learn or willing to get better in that area for them to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I think Ben Simmons deserves a lot of the blame. The performance that he had was subpar. And one thing that you used to be able to count on with Ben Simmons is his defense. He made the first team this year, and he didn't even do that for them. Yeah. Trae Young was cooking him all series. To the point where he could not guard him. But it says more that the fact that he wouldn't shoot the ball. Like, I think it was 3 out of the 7 games where he didn't attempt more than 7 shots. That's ridiculous to be the second best player on anybody's team. And also the fact that he couldn't play in the fourth quarter in his free throws that's been atrocious all series, all playoffs, says a lot. That you pay this guy, I think he's getting paid like $135 million. And he the last few minutes of the fourth quarter. That is ridiculous. And
that is a problem.
It's basically throwing money in the toilet. But I don't blame Ben Simmons for the series. I blame Doc Rivers more. You're in the playoffs. You can't run a 10-man rotation. In order for them to get better for next year, they have to get more depth. They have to get more wing shooting to put around Joel Embiid. So if you want to trade Ben Simmons, I think you trade him for a shooter. The deal that most people want to throw out there is CJ McCollum. I don't really like that deal because I don't think that's
at all.
I don't think that's equal value for Ben Simmons. But
a ball handler, a legit ball handler.
He doesn't facilitate or play the defense that Ben Simmons plays. Yeah. But I think at this point, Ben Simmons' trade value is the lowest it's going to be.
Because
go ahead.
And if you really think about it, it's really, as an athlete, his mental. I'm worried about him mentally because you can't if they hacking you and you're scared to pull shots. Then I'm scared for you because what are you on the basketball court for?
Right. It definitely boiled down to his head. It was all in his head and you can tell when he was shooting those free throws that he was thinking about it too much. A little bit to shoot his free throws, and it take him almost 20 seconds to shoot a free throw. You're thinking about it. Thinking about it. But they have to get more depth. I think that some of the guys that Doc Rivers played had no business. like I have no idea why Dwight Howard was out there. I have no idea why he's playing Shake Milton. He played at least 4 point guards from what I count. Being Shake Milton, Tyrese Maxey, and George Hill.
But you have to think about it though. He had to do something because Ben Simmons wasn't producing on the offensive end or the defensive end.
Yeah, but none of those guys that he put in to guard Trae Young.
Yeah.
Those guys in for eternally no reason. Because if we can give Ben Simmons credit for anything, he was still a great facilitator.
Yeah.
And he did drive to the cup, even though he didn't finish on his own. He tried to create for other players. So, I mean, the only person that should have been taking minutes away from Ben Simmons was Matisse Thybulle. And that's because Thybulle was doing such a great job against Trae Young.
Trae Young, yeah.
Like, the reason that Trae Young was 5 for 18 in Game 7 was because of Matisse Thybulle.
Yeah.
I don't want to downplay the injury of Danny Green. That's a big thing for them. Danny Green was a reliable veteran for them the whole season. And him getting hurt didn't help them very much. But I think that if they do trade Ben Simmons, because I've been saying for a long time that Joel and Ben Simmons will not win a championship together.
They will not. They can't. They can't coincide together.
They can't. You can't trade Ben Simmons for 1-1. You have to get a player and some more. You know what I'm saying? They need to build more depth, get more wing shooting, and more backcourt shooting.
Mm-hmm. Or they're going to have to move Ben Simmons to the 4 or the 3. But I doubt them doing that. If he's willing to do that, then that's something that plays a different dynamic in that. But then again, like they have to get a ball handler, and they have to get somebody that can help Embiid in that pick and roll game, and in that when they double Embiid and they kick it out, because nobody. I feel like no center is better than Embiid. He had the footwork of Hakeem Olajuwon. And he had the dominance of Shaq, how he dominated from 2000 to just about 2004.
You think that Joel Embiid has the dominance of Shaq?
His impact. Okay. I think
Shaq was to the Lakers.
Man, look here. I seen Embiid cook some folks on that block, man. He is awesome.
Joel Embiid was my MVP before he got hurt, but
I
understood after he got hurt that he probably wasn't going to win it. But he's one of those guys where you drop the ball down and you let him go to work, and you got to have shooters around him for him to kick it out to.
Yeah. I think he's going to get double teamed.
Yeah, exactly. But last year, if you remember in the playoffs, they tried to put Ben Simmons in that dunker spot and had him out of the 4 standing right outside the paint. But all that did was create a logjam for Joel Embiid, and you seen him taking more perimeter shots and more face-ups. Joel Embiid is when he can put his back on somebody and then turn around and do what he wants after that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's needless to say that the 76ers got a lot of work to do this offseason.
Yeah.
If they keep Ben Simmons, then I think that what he needs is a veteran player to come in and take him under his wing. Get him in the gym every day to work on his shot, to work on his free throws. Obviously, the coaches can't do it. They're going to need to bring in a guy that's willing to mentor him and get him to the next level that he needs to be at.
Okay. That sounds good.
For the last and final point, we're just going to cover a wide range of the NBA playoffs. I know you haven't made your finals prediction yet, so I'm going to get that on right here, right now. I'm going to start. Basically, we already seen the series start with the Suns and the Clippers. They gave us a great game 1. Both stars were out in effect, and both stars played well. And both sides are dealing with major injuries to star players and key players to their team. For me, I think that it all hinges on if Kawhi comes back. To me, it doesn't matter if the Clippers go down 0-2, because at the end of the day, all the Suns did was home court, and the Clippers have to go back and do that. The Clippers still have to get a road win somewhere in the series, but it doesn't have to be in these first 2 games. For right now, I'm going to take the Suns to win in 6, but I'll take the Suns in 7 if Kawhi comes back. But I will hold the right to say that if Kawhi does come back and it goes to Game 7 is very unpredictable. And Game 7s can really go any way. If a series comes down to a Game 7, then both of those teams are basically even matched, and that anybody could win or lose that series. I think Kawhi's a difference maker. Also think Chris Paul is a difference maker. But I think Kawhi Leonard brings a different level for them, and they need to hold the light-skinned assassin.
Most definitely, because it's not Paul George.
Paul George spent a lot of energy trying to hold Devin Booker, and that's the reason we saw other players try to hold him after that, being Rondo and Pat Bev, but they just
nobody can do nothing with that man.
Yeah.
To me, Devin Booker, he is the closest thing to Kobe that we'll ever see. Because I was watching some of Kobe highlights today. Early Kobe, when he used to work that mid-range or work that three, and that looks like a lot of how Devin Booker plays. Kobe. Number 8. That guy. I was looking at the 2001 the 2001 finals against him in the Philadelphia 76ers, and I see a lot of Devin Booker in Kobe. I see a lot of, Devin Booker, I see a lot of similarities how he played. I see a lot of Kobe in his game. And there's a reason why Kobe said he was next. Because, man, the way he just plays and he attack, I just love his game, man.
So how you see the series playing out?
I see the series playing out Suns in 6. Okay. I just feel like there's a lot of bad blood. I just feel like Devin Booker just don't like Paul George. But the simple fact, what happened in the bubble. And I feel like the Suns have a chip on their shoulder. They feel like they can play with these guys now. I like Paul George, but I feel like he have a lot of inconsistencies. And then he has to exert his energy. I looked at the season series, and it was 2-1, of course, but in those games, Paul George didn't lead his team in scoring. It was Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George shot bad in two of those games. So I just feel like Devin Booker is just too much in the way that Mikal Bridges and Crow play, man. I've been saying Mikal Bridges is a bad boy for a long time, and I've been loving the way he played. And just Chris Paul just got those guys just prepared mentally. I love the way Monty Williams coaching his team, and it's just real. You see the connection that Chris Paul and Monty Williams have, and the success that they have going back to the days early in New Orleans. And I feel like that it's just a perfect marriage. And these guys here, I feel like they're the real deal. It's just too much matchup problems for the Clippers. They had Mo Senior trying to hold Devin Booker at a time. They had Reggie Jackson trying to hold him at a time. They had they had my boy Feet the Children, Reggie Jackson, trying to hold him at the time. Like, it was just, at the end of the day, Paul George gonna have to. You got paid this money. Now we're gonna have to see playoff P. That's what you call yourself. I want to see what you about. Right. But I feel like even and another point that I want to make before I give it to you, they couldn't win a game without Chris Paul. And Chris and that's to me is major, because when Chris Paul come back, that's just gonna bring and add more fuel to the fire. So I feel like that's a big difference in it as well.
Do you think Kawhi Leonard make any kind of difference if he comes back?
Yeah, Kawhi would make a difference, but it determines when he come back. Mm-hmm. If he come back game 3 while they're in LA, and if Chris Paul is back and the Suns are up 2-0, I think it don't really make much of a difference. But if it's 1-1 and Chris Paul come back and Kawhi Leonard come back, then I believe the series probably could go to 7. But I'll still tip it off to the Suns, because they would be at home probably, if I'm not mistaken. But you can't really count out Kawhi, because Kawhi is a killer, but you never know how he might come back with this knee injury.
Right. I don't know how I feel about the Devin Booker Kobe Bryant comparison. Not okay. How I feel about that. I know that Kobe was his mentor for a long time, and I know he pulls a lot of his game out to Kobe.
Man, I love it. Okay.
I know he does. He structures his game after Kobe, but the comparison of the two, I think I have to see a little more. This is Devin Booker's first playoff series, and it's a lot that in his first series he out here dropping 40-point triple doubles in the way And I think for the whole course of the 11 games they played, he's averages 29 points. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous for a Suns team that nobody thought would ever be here. So, I mean, I give Devin Booker a lot of credit. If they make it to the finals, it's going to be Devin Booker that gets them there. But we both got the Suns making it to the finals. So let's jump over to the next series, being the Bucks and the Hawks. How you see that series playing
out? I want to go with Hawks, but it's just that I feel like Jrue Holiday and those guys in Milwaukee just give Trae Young just too much problems. The reason why is because, man, who's gonna hold Giannis? That's who's gonna hold Giannis. And Middleton, he been playing out of his mind lately. Like he been playing like a true superstar, and he's really earning his money. I just feel like Jrue Holiday just give Trae Young just too much problems. So I want to say Bucks in 6, but I do give Atlanta at least one game just because I respect Trae Young and what he does. I wanted to say if he don't show up, it's gonna be because Jrue Holiday and the different bodies that they throw at him. But I definitely looking at the Bucks to go and handle business and get to the finals in 6.
I think for me, the Bucks just too big. They got way too size when it comes down to facing off against the Hawks. They got a lot of bodies that they can throw at Trae Young. They got PJ Tucker. They got Jrue Holiday. They got, different players that they can put on them, and not to mention Giannis, who is really good at guarding those smaller guards and those smaller. He's good at putting his body on them. So I think for me, it's hard not to predict the sweep. But I'm gonna go Bucks in 5, just because I don't want to be too disrespectful to the Hawks. What they've done in this playoffs has been nothing short of amazing. And they beat the Knicks, which is a team that everybody knew that they probably would beat because they were the better team. But them getting past Philadelphia, they showed a lot. And Trae Young has ascended in his first playoffs as well. I think it's a lot of similarities to Devin Booker's first playoff run and Trae Young's first playoff run, and them both make it to the Western Conference Final. It says a lot about the future of the NBA, and that is in really good hands for the future. So I don't think it's really much that we can say about that. There's not going to be many people that picks the Hawks. I think.
You know what? I'm going to say this because I feel like they're disrespecting Trae Young. I feel like with the way that he's shooting, he 5. I feel 5 is good, but I feel like 6 because the way that some of those shots that he was setting up on the 76ers, man, it's about spacing. And if they come out in that zone against the Hawks, man, I feel like the Hawks could really do damage, and I feel like they could steal at least 2 games against the Milwaukee Bucks.
I mean, the Bucks ran that zone because of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant so much against them that guarding him one-on-one is going to be a problem. I think if Jrue Holiday straps it up and lace him up real tight, and he shows that he can guard Trae Young without help, or at least limit him to being an average player, not the superstar player that we've seen in the second round, I don't see the Hawks winning more than 1 game. And also, I don't think they have anything to do with Giannis. If Giannis turn the corner and start going downhill, Clint Capella is not enough down there to stop whatever he want to do. And
for sure,
he's the one that's guarding Cash Money Chris. That ain't gonna work, bro.
At all.
That ain't gonna get it done. So for me, they don't have enough defenders. They don't have enough size. And like I said, I want to pick a sleep, but because I don't want to disrespect Trae Young, I'm saying 5.
Well, I feel like the big name to look up in this series. It's just something telling me that the Hawks gonna just pull this off. I feel like I want to switch my pick and say Hawks in 7 because I feel like Trae Young is. I feel like he can do it, and I feel like Gallinari and Lou Williams coming off that bench is really big. I feel like, matter of fact, I'm gonna go with Hawks in 7.
Hawks in 7.
I'm gonna go Hawks in 7.
I don't know, man. I don't think the Hawks win more than 2 games. But if you want to go
Hawks in 7,
how do you think the Suns and the Hawks play off for the championship? Who's your champion for this year in the NBA?
It'll be the Phoenix Suns.
How many games?
Nah, Phoenix Suns in 6.
Okay.
Because I don't see nobody holding Devin Booker.
Especially on the Hawks.
Nobody can hold Devin Booker. So yeah, I feel like that's how it's gonna be. The Phoenix Suns will be the NBA champions this year.
Okay, for me, I got the Bucks versus the Suns in the finals, and I'm sorry, man, I'm gonna have to take the Bucks. I think this year Giannis has shown everybody why he's a 2-time MVP, and shown everybody why he's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Giannis is here, and he wants to have his status as a top 3 player in the NBA solidified. And the only way you do that is by winning the NBA Finals. For me, the matchup, I think Giannis has to step up and guard Devin Booker. He has to do that job because Jrue Holiday has to deal with Chris Paul. And I think the matchup of Jrue Holiday against Chris Paul's offense versus Jrue Holiday's defense is not beneficial for Chris Paul. That's not good. That's probably the best defender that he's going to see all season. Watch a lot of All the Smoke. And if you when they ask the players who they think is the most underrated player in the NBA, everybody says Jrue Holiday. And it's valid because Jrue Holiday doesn't get the respect that he deserves. Jrue Holiday shows up offensively, Jrue Holiday shows up defensively, and he also has that clutch mentality where he doesn't shrink in the big moments. I think him being on this final stage and being able to get a matchup of Chris Paul's magnitude or a matchup of Devin Booker's magnitude is huge. But for them to win the series, I'm going to take the Bucks in 7. I'm going to take the Bucks in 7. If I'm not mistaken, I think that the Suns would get the home court in the game 7 if that scenario played out. But I think in order for them to win, Giannis has to average close to 30. He has to average 30 or more in that series in order for the Bucks to win a championship against anybody, even if it's the Hawks. He has to average more than 30. He has to
have a triple-double. That's what he have to average.
I don't know about a triple-double, but yeah, somewhat close to it. He's probably going to have double-digit rebounds too, especially if it's the Suns, because that's where they excel at, defense and rebounding.
They're going to attack him. They're going to be like locusts on honey.
And that's another thing too, that Brook Lopez brings DeAndre Ayton out of the paint, because Brook Lopez is the perimeter player, the perimeter big man that stretches the floor. So you bring DeAndre Ayton out of that paint, there's nothing there for when Giannis crashes. Nothing there.
But yeah, I understand the aspect of becoming or what you come, but the Suns play great defense as a team too, and they get out in transition and they run. My thing is, if Chris Paul come back in that series, he know that Jrue Holiday is a problem. They're gonna put Jrue Holiday in a lot of pick and roll situations, man, and they're gonna try to get Brook Lopez on. They're gonna want Brook Lopez on CP so CP can do his thing mid range and do what he do on big men. So it's just not also just Devin Booker, but it's gonna be Chris Paul helping carry the load, because you gotta understand, Chris Paul is playing with a chip on his shoulder too, because he never made it to a championship, and it's about time. People are looking at Chris Paul as, if he don't win this, he's gonna be the next John Stockton. Mm-hmm. And we don't want that with Chris Paul. He don't want that on his legacy. So I feel like Chris Paul has a lot to prove ever since that Houston situation when it got real messy. And I feel like too, you gotta think about it. Chris Paul don't like the Clippers either. So I feel like we're adding him to the fuel to the fire with it's just a lot of just what Chris Paul and Devin Booker do. They're gonna put him in a lot of pick and roll situations, and they're gonna do what they do. They're gonna play one-man basketball, but still get those guys involved.
Mm-hmm. So you got the Suns in 6.
I got the Suns in 6.
He got the Suns in 6 winning the NBA championship. I got the Bucks in 7 winning the NBA championship. We'll see how that plans out. As far as this video goes, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for coming through.
Always, man.
Knowledge on us.
You said what?
Thanks for coming through, sharing some of your guru knowledge with us.
I thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, man.
All right, that's a bet. And if you guys like this type of content, make sure you leave a comment below or which one of us you think has the better points. There's 3 topics. Let me know if y'all think which one of y'all think we won and which one y'all think we lost. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't so far. And other than that, I'm out, man. I'll catch y'all in the next one.